when they renovated the church in 1906, we had church in the Farmer's Grange at the corner of William Penn Highway and Farmerswood Road. They tied the horses at the hotel and along the fence posts, along the roads. And as a young boy, I saw the 4 pulpits. I thought we were going to have 4 ministers.
Sterling is an inspiration because he's 95, he still drives to church, he's an inspiration. He comes every Sunday.
I was a member of the choir for 30 years. We had an organization. We had president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And at each choir rehearsal, we dropped 25 cents. And then the women had, they sold everyday cards and Christmas cards. They had bake sales in order to make money. And with the proceeds, we bought a spinet-type organ.
When we used to have our dinner, brotherhood dinners, Reverend, that time we smoked downstairs. And every time when Reverend Arid he smoked cigars, he used to come and take it out of my pocket, never said, gave me a smile, every time.
You provided his cigar.
Yeah, well, he knew I had one in his pocket for him.
Elmer is an individual who is our coffee maker. He makes coffee, very strong coffee, but we like it. And he welcomes every new person that comes in, and he acts as a kind of greeter, and he introduces them around. He has a wonderful sense of humor, and he is often the first person that people meet.
I started the ham suppers.
Okay, you're the one that began the famous ham suppers here
yeah.
at St. John's, which
50
are still
years.
going on.
50 years.
50 years.
Mm-hmm.
50 years of ham suppers.
Of course, I've been helping for I don't know how many years at our ham dinners. I guess I was one of the original ones to assist. We had Raymond Beidelman started this. He decided he had been a veteran of World War I, and so we had the dinner on Armistice Day. And so I don't remember just what year it was, but it was a good many years, more than 50, I know that.
Charlie and Dorothy, brother and sister. Charlie's in his 90s, Dorothy is, I think, 90. And they're so vital. Charlie continues to walk. He's part of our brotherhood. He's part of the dart team.
I became a member in 1926, the year I got married. 1926. Because Reverend Arid, when the marriage ceremony was completed, he asked me if I'd join Farmersville. I, at first, didn't attend Sunday school. And so I had my children, and they started complaining. They said, why must we go to Sunday school and Pop doesn't? Well, right then and there, I decided it's time for me to go to Sunday school, so I went to Sunday school a good many years.
I was a Sunday school teacher, and I was on the choir, and now I'm helping to quilt. Well, the only thing I can remember was being on the choir. We'd have to raise money. We used to have plays. And I know we had, I think, a minstrel one year. And then, of course, every once in a while, we'd have a party and have a good time. And I enjoyed the fellowship.
Well, I came out here in 1940. I belonged to St. Stephen's in Bethlehem. But then my wife Catherine belonged out here at Farmersville. So I decided to come out here to Farmersville, and which I was glad I did, because I've been enjoying, well, I guess I've had 56 years here, and I've enjoyed every bit of it, and I intend to stay here too.
These are people who help preserve the past but have not stopped living, and they show the younger people that have joined the church what the culture used to be like, but also that they're open to what is coming, to the new, to the future of the church.
When I came here in 1940, I was only here about a year, and they elected me to council, the church council, which I only served a short time because the organist walked out in 1 week and they had no organist for the following week. And at that time I was playing back, we were playing back at the chapel back part. This part of the church, the main part, wasn't completed at that time. And so for some reason or other, Reverend Errett knew, as a friend, because I lived near him in Bethlehem, and he knew I had been an organist in Bethlehem. And wow, when he suggested that, I didn't know what to say. And well, unfortunately, the next Sunday I was at the Council of Hammond, Oregon. And of course, I thought it was only going to be for a Sunday or anything like that. Well, it was supposed to only be temporary. I was elected, and I was supposed to only be temporary till they got somebody. Well, it was temporary for 8 years.
And it's a beautiful building. This building was built in the 1930s with a great deal of perfectionism. The architect and contractor was well known in the area. His name was Schwartz, and he was a perfectionist, brought in German stonemasons, and everything was done in a way. He walked around and made sure everything was done in an absolutely perfect way. I think the church was built intentionally to have symbolism. The sanctuary itself, the arches overhead representing a kind of upside-down ship or ark. The aisle, the aisles up front and the center aisle form a cross, of course. Stained glass windows, the memorials. There are more memorials, of course there are memorials in any church, but there's hardly anything in this church that doesn't have a memorial plaque on it. Indicates how important a church is to a legacy, to a sense of not only the eternal, but also being remembered within a community on this earth. Every window, every piece of furniture, every pew, every hymnal has a name in it. There's a sense of an ongoing community in that.
Well, we used to have the church back there where the old pews are.
So
And
it
then
was
when
only
we
from-
had,
It would have only been from the curtains.
that was closed with drywall.
Oh, I see.
And the minister was back there, and that's where we had the church. And all of them upstairs, that was all open with benches. Yeah, and every bench was higher.
They had like an oversized parlor lamp in the center. It had a series of kerosene lights for lighting purposes.
Then they closed them up. And then after we had the church paid what we started, then we finished this, loaned money to finish this.
And they had a pipe organ with wooden pipes and bellows. Now, it was the sexton's job to pump the bellows, keep air in the bellows
During the service.
during the service.
Did they get paid extra for that?
Well, I don't think so. Not that I know of.
This here part alone was $45,000. Just this here part,
Just the sanctuary?
everything, this here, yeah.
And the basement,
That was done.
that was done at the same, of course. At the
No, that was done when the church was built.
Oh,
The only thing wasn't finished was this.
I don't know if you heard it before. The Ladies' Aid Society was they were the motive behind this. They had the most money. Through the years, they had dinners and quilts and so forth, and they had $20,000, which was quite a nice sum of money.
a lot of money in the
Yes, to
30s.
build this church. But because there was a lot of opposition, there's some who felt that they wouldn't be able to pay for it. And of course, we know it got paid for.
So you have a beautiful building, you have a spiritually alive, vital core, and you have this church sitting in the middle of a growing, developing area, and that's a good combination. It's a very good combination.
I couldn't ever live here.
My parents belonged to this church. There was 8 children.
I was raised to go to church, and if I don't go, I don't feel right. That's what you should do.
I was always around church. My family were great church people, and my dad was always on council and active in the church, and my brothers were. They were always active in it. So I was sort of raised in it, and I can't see myself laying in bed on a Sunday morning and not coming to church.
It's tradition. I think has a lot to do with it. My family, my mother and father were church members for a good many years. And of course, so I kept up the tradition. And of course, I think it's a nice thing to do, have something to do Sunday morning and worship God.
I enjoy the fellowship, talking to other people.
There was a man one time was outside, he wanted to see the bricklaying. He said, "You have a beautiful church." I said, "It's more beautiful inside if you come in." And I said, "The people make the church, not the church alone." And that was, he said, that's really a wonderful thought. You know?